All right, everyone, today we want to give you guys a quick rundown on the Seekins Precision SP10 lineup of rifles, kind of what we love about them, some of the key features of them, and what kind of sets them apart from a lot of other different large frame gas guns in the market. So first off, this one is my Seekins Precision SP10M. This one's chambered in 308. I use it mainly kind of for nighttime stuff and daytime sub 700 yards. I've got a Leupold Mark V 2-10 on it with a CMR2 reticle. It is one of their illuminated models. So when I'm using like a clip-on thermal, I can turn that illumination on and it makes it a little bit easier to pick out the reticle on the black and white or white and black screen on the thermal. Like I mentioned, this one is a 16-inch gun. This one features the lighter weight barrel contour as well. So it's a pretty handy little gun that's easy to maneuver, use, get in and out of the truck with, which is why I really like it for nighttime hunting. So in front of the Leupold Mark V, I've got a D&T Hydra HS635 clip-on. We've been testing this one over the last few months now. At some point we'll put a review out about it. We've been pretty impressed with it in some ways. In other ways it's got some drawbacks, but for sub $2 grand, it's a pretty cool little thermal. On the end of the gun though, we have an Otter Creek Labs Infinity 7.62. This suppressor is pretty much sat on the gun since it got put together. I absolutely love the Infinity because of the fact that it's built tougher than anything else out there. Running it on a 16-inch 308, I don't necessarily have to worry about any of the heat restrictions that I would with a titanium suppressor. And it is also a low back pressure design, so I can either run the vented end cap, which is what's on it right now, or I can run the closed end cap if I want some more sound suppression or I'm running it on a bolt gun. Overall, it's a very versatile can that I really like. And this little SP10, like I said, it's a 16-inch M model. It has been solid. I have shot stuff out to 600, 700, 800 yards with it. I've killed coyotes at night with it now, out to about 500 yards, and it's just been a solid little workhorse. On top of that though, it's not only an absolutely reliable gun, but it also shoots phenomenally. And that's one of the things that I really think separates the SP10s from some of the other guns out there in the large frame gas gun models, is while it might not have like the modularity like the LMT does for switching the barrels, I do think that the overall accuracy of the gun absolutely smokes that of some of the other competitors out there. I've owned LMTs, I've owned Knights SR25s, and so far this SP10 has outshot all of them while still maintaining the same reliability that I've had in those other platforms. So one of my favorite features of the SP10 that I think really makes it stand out amongst a lot of other options out there are going to be both the upper receiver and the handguard. So number one, the upper receiver and the handguard mate directly to each other. So it's a true free float system. At no point does that handguard actually interface with the barrel nut. It clamps directly onto the billet upper receiver, and there's almost zero flex in the system. It's a very solid platform. Whether you're mounting clip-on optics on it, whether or not you're running it off of barricades, it makes it really easy to have minimal point of impact shift and retain zero, no matter what you're shooting off of. Next is going to be the fact that that SP3R handguard on it is flat on the bottom. So whether you're shooting off of fence posts, fence, you're shooting off of barricades, trees, you name it, it's very easy to either one, throw a bag on top of something and then run the flat bottom handguard on it, or just put the handguard directly onto whatever you're shooting off of and have a very stable platform to run the gun on. And then on top of that, you've still got all the normal M-lock, and at the bottom of it where it is wider, when you add the arc rail to the bottom of it, it makes it really easy to have just a nice flush profile. You're not snagging your rail on anything. It's just overall a very easy handguard to run accessories off of. The billet lower receiver matches up perfectly with that upper, and on top of that, it does have a true ambidextrous bolt release on the right-hand side. So not only does it release the bolt, but you can actually lock the bolt open with the rear of it. So I have changed a couple things up on this lower. Number one, kind of starting with the lower receiver itself, I did swap over to a Radiant safety selector. That's what I've run for years. It's just something that I'm very comfortable with. And then on top of that, I did swap the Trigger trigger out for a Geissele SSAE. I just really like the Geissele's. I think overall they're a little bit more reliable of a trigger than some of the Trigger Tech stuff. Not that the Trigger Techs are bad, I just think the Geissele is a little bit more robust of a platform. Moving back to the stock on the gun, this one has a B5 soft mod stock, and we have swapped it out for a 6-position buffer tube. Typically the gun comes with a rifle length buffer and a Magpul PRS stock. I'm a smaller guy, those PRS stocks are pretty long, so I like the ability to be able to adjust that length of pull depending on what position I'm shooting from. One of the questions we get asked a ton here at Grand Teton Gun and Range is going to be what's the differences between the SP10 and the SP10M? And we thought we'd go over a few of those key differences with you. So number one, this one is a 308. This particular gun is a 16-inch gun. That is pretty much the only way to get a 16-inch SP10 from Seekins is going to be to go to the M series. And in the M's, in 308, you can either get them in the 16-inch variety or a 22-inch. And then moving into the 6.5 flavor of the SP10Ms, it's just going to come in a 22-inch. In the standard SP10s, the 308 is going to come in an 18-inch instead of that 16 or 22-inch, while in the 6.5, you're just getting the 22-inch like you would in the M, so not a whole lot of differences there. As far as the barrel contours go, there used to be a difference in the fact that the SP10Ms had a thicker barrel profile contour in comparison to the standard SP10s. That, as of a couple years ago, has changed, and now all of them use the heavier profile barrel contour. So you might ask yourself, now that the barrel contour is the same, kind of what are the key differences other than maybe barrel lengths in some calibers? And the real difference is going to be that the SP10Ms are built on a little bit more smaller of a scale. It's not a standard production item. And so as a result, there are more quality control checks that go into the SP10Ms compared to the SP10s. That being said though, I have owned a handful now or I guess a handful of not only the SP10s, but the SP10Ms, and honestly, all of them shoot lights out. I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a shootability difference between either of the platforms. I don't necessarily think that there's a reliability difference between the SP10 or the SP10M. It's really just gonna come down to, my opinion, barrel lengths is what most shooters are gonna notice. I wouldn't necessarily, if it was me, spend the extra $2,000 unless you really truly want a contract spec rifle. You're one of the clone guys out there. I kind of understand that. I sometimes have that same feeling. I want the exact same thing as that the cool guys are running. But I would not necessarily drop the extra coin on an M over a standard SP10 as long as the barrel length and contour suited you. Being here in Idaho, one of the other things that we love about Seekins and their whole lineup of rifles is going to be the fact that they are made up in Lewiston, Idaho. It's a local company. We're great friends with the guys there, and they make overall absolutely solid platforms. I definitely would not hesitate trusting my life with this rifle. And at the end of the day, this is bar none my favorite gas gun that I own. I will probably own this gun till the day I die. I love it that much. On top of all of that too, the awesome part about all of Seekins guns, SP10 included, is going to be the fact that they have a no questions asked lifetime warranty. So if at any point something's not going right with the gun, it's not shooting, there's issues with it, you send it back to them. They either fix it or send you a new gun. That being said though, we have sold hundreds of Seekins rifles, and the number of them that actually have to go back for something that isn't shooter related is next to none. So like I mentioned before, this is a gun that you can trust with your life. They're accurate, they're dependable, and they just run. So we're just going to throw down some really quick groups in the 50-yard range. I wish it was 100, but time constraints and whatnot. We're going to shoot it here in the 50. It should give you guys, though, a pretty good idea of just how well this gun shoots, though, and how tight of a grouping gun it is. We're shooting Federal 175 gold medal match. If you guys really enjoyed this content today too on the SP10 and SP10M lineup of rifles, please comment, subscribe, and like this video. We're really trying to grow this channel, and we have a lot of really cool content ideas coming your way. If there's anything that you guys would like to see us do as well, drop a comment down below, and we'll put it on our list. Thanks, guys.